Cut 800 grams of chicken into bite-sized pieces. You can use thighs or breast, and it would need to be skinless. It equates to about 1 3/4 pounds of chicken. Next, finely dice 50 grams or 1/3 of a cup of onion and set that aside. I'm using 3 red chili peppers for this dish. I de-seeded them and cut them into 4s lengthways. Over medium heat, melt 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, then add the chicken to the pan and saute that until the meat turns white, turning the pieces over occasionally, and mine took about 8 minutes. Then remove that from the pan and get rid of the excess water. We don't need it. We're going to add our own flavors. Over medium heat again, add another tablespoon of coconut oil, and when that's heated through, add the diced onion and 1 tablespoon of garlic granules and stir. If you want to add heat, you would do that now by adding chili powder or chili flakes. Next, add 1 cup of peanuts and the fresh chili peppers and give it a stir. Then add 1/3 of a cup of coconut aminos or low-carb soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a 1/2 teaspoon of sweetener, and 1/3 a cup of water. Give it a good stir to combine all the ingredients, then add the chicken back into the pan and try to cover the chicken in the sauce. Then close the pan and let it simmer on medium to low heat for 10 minutes. Give it a taste now and check if you want to have a thicker sauce. And if you do, you can add 2 tablespoons of all-natural peanut butter. Finally, garnish with thinly sliced spring onion, or you can use spinach leaves. In this clip, I'm preparing the gluten-free orzo as rice. Place boiling hot water into a bowl, then a strainer into the hot water. Next, add the keto rice into the strainer. Using a fork, stir the rice for 1 minute, then test it to see if the rice is as soft as you like. I soaked mine in the hot water for 2 minutes because I wanted my rice to be like mash, because sushi rice is always very soft. So here I'm using the Lupin Flour non-gluten-free orzo, but both methods will work for either rice. The second way to prepare the rice is add 1 serving to a bowl and add 1 tablespoon of water. If you want additional servings of rice, just add another tablespoon of water per serving of rice. Then microwave for 15 seconds at a time, stirring in between. I wanted soft rice, so I microwaved my rice for a total of 2 minutes. This is a great way to control how soft you want your rice to be. When your rice is ready, add 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar to 1 serving and combine. This will give you sushi rice, then set it aside. Next, we're going to prepare the veggies. Cucumber is great in sushi and for keto. So cut and peel the cucumber, then I cut it in half and sliced it thinly. The most important thing when using cucumber in sushi is to cut it as thin as possible and to make sure it's dry, because you don't want soggy sushi. I also prepared my other ingredients and you will soon see what I used. First, place your sushi mat onto a cutting board. Then place a nori sheet onto the sushi mat with the shiny side of the nori on the mat and the dull side facing up, because the dull side of the nori helps the rice stick better. Now spread the keto rice onto the nori, leaving about 1 inch spare at the further side from you. And you can see I'm using the gluten-free orzo here. It mashed up really great. Hint, hint, hello mashed potato. Time to add the protein. And the most common is salmon and chicken, and here you can see I'm using salmon. then some thinly sliced avocado, and then strips of cucumber. For this one, I'm using the lupin flour orzo, and to this I added finely diced chicken, then slices of avocado, and then cucumber. Now for the fun part, rolling the sushi. And make no mistake, we didn't get this right in one take, but just be patient with it and try to follow the instructions as best as you can. Lift the end of the sushi mat that is closest to you, and using your fingers to tuck in your ingredients, roll the mat over. As you keep rolling, keep tucking in the ingredients. You can check that everything is going well by having a peek. If you find the sushi roll is loose, pull the end of the sushi mat away from you while holding onto the sushi roll. Keep rolling until you get to the end of the rice line. Then wet the nori just beyond the rice, and this is going to serve as a glue. Just think of it like sealing an envelope. Then keep rolling. You can either cut off the excess with a wet knife or use up all your nori. Now tuck in any escaping ingredients at the end and tidy the ends up as well. I want to give you some tips on how to get a great cut for your sushi. It's important to use a sharp knife and make sure the blade is always wet and clean. To get even sushi, make a cut in the middle of each portion, cleaning and wetting your blade after each cut. This will ensure that you get clean cuts for each piece and you don't have messy sushi. This is the sushi all done. You can see for the two gluten-free versions, I added more rice in one of them, and I was just testing the keto rice to see how it would perform. Of course, as usual, serve with coconut aminos or a low-carb soy sauce. Over a medium heat, add a quarter teaspoon of olive oil to a skillet, then a half a cup of ground beef and break up the meat. Let that cook for a few minutes until the meat is brown, and add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of ginger powder, a pinch of salt, a tablespoon of coconut aminos or low-carb tamari sauce, 2 tablespoons of beef broth, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and then mix to combine all of those flavors into the meat. Then I added 1 tablespoon of finely sliced scallion or green onion, stir that in, and then turn off the heat. I have 1 cup of cauliflower rice here, and I'm going to flavor this by adding a quarter teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder, a pinch of ginger powder, and a half teaspoon of sesame oil. Mix to combine and then microwave for 90 seconds. And then I added it to my bowl, then the Korean flavored beef. And this is 50 grams of sliced cucumber, a sprinkle of chili flakes and sesame seeds, and 1 fried egg. I'm using Scotch steak for this recipe, but you can use the steak of your choice. I finely sliced the beef, then added it to a bowl. For the seasonings, add a tablespoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of ginger powder, and a quarter cup of coconut aminos. Mix that all together until it's combined. Then cover it and let it sit in the fridge for at least an hour. And you can do this the night before, but this recipe is also designed to be really quick and easy. When you're ready, over a high heat, melt the coconut oil, add the beef, and let it cook for about 5 minutes depending on how you like your steak, but also don't let the sauce dry out. And to serve it, add a cup of lettuce leaves to your plate and 79 grams of the Mongolian beef, and lastly a sprinkle of sliced shallots or spring onion and a little bit of sesame seeds. Firstly, dice 650 grams of skinless chicken breast into bite-sized pieces, or you can buy diced chicken from the store. Over a medium heat, add the chicken pieces to a non-stick pan and cook the chicken for about 5 minutes until white or golden. Add 3 tablespoons or 84 grams of Thai green curry paste and 1 tablespoon or 12 grams of fish sauce and toss to coat the chicken. Reduce the heat to medium-low, then add 400 ml of coconut cream. Simmer for 10 minutes, stirring occasionally until cooked. Turn off the heat and give it a taste to see if you wish to season, and I didn't need any. And when you're ready to serve, as an added extra, I added fresh chopped cilantro or coriander leaves. Over a medium heat, add 1 tablespoon of avocado oil, then add a half a cup of thinly sliced chicken and spread the chicken so it browns evenly. Once your chicken has some color to it, add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of thinly sliced carrots, and let that cook a little, stirring occasionally so that the carrots soften for about 2 minutes. Add 2 tablespoons of tamari sauce or coconut aminos, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, then 2 tablespoons of bean sprouts, and 2 tablespoons of spring onion or scallion. I'm adding 1 serving of my zero carb noodles and stirring that in for 2 minutes just until they soften. If you want the recipe for the noodles, click on the link appearing now in the top right hand corner of your screen. I added all of that to my plate because this is dinner for one, a sprinkle of fresh scallion and black and white sesame seeds. Check it out close up. It tastes even better than it looks.